Welcome to the Alternative Acoustic Podcast. I'm Chris of the Chris Woods Groove Orchestra, and this podcast is brought to you by Ibanez UK. In this episode, I sit down with Antonio Forcione. In fact, I sit down in his kitchen. He made the most incredible, quite frankly, inspirational pasta, and we played lots of guitar. One of the jams we had, in fact, is the theme music for this episode, and he imparted wisdom, a serious amount of wisdom. If you don't know Antonio Forcione already, then please go and spend some time listening to his work, and of course, listen to this episode too, for an insight into a guitarist that has inspired so many, myself included. He's inspirational as a performer, but he's also inspirational as one of the most deeply connected, emotive, visceral guitarists that I've ever heard. And I think we get to the bottom of some of that in this episode. We join the conversation just as Antonio is explaining to me how he was introduced to Michael Hedges and the influence that had on his music. I hope you enjoy listening. And one last thing before we get stuck in, if you enjoy this podcast, please support us by spreading the word and just clicking follow or subscribe on wherever you're listening to this podcast. You can also join our mailing list if you head to chriswoodsgroove.co.uk/The Alternative Acoustic Podcast. Thank you so much.
Did you see him?
I didn't see that.
So that was just from your ears.
I've been listening to him about 4 or 5 months in the car.
And you're trying to sort of work out the technicalities.
Yeah, I was a bit tired also playing so many. I needed some change into my music because I was playing very intense, rhythmical, flamenco-ish fleurs and too many notes.
Okay.
So when I hear the steel string and that reverb, and then it had something really appealing to me.
Like a new sound, just like a
finally, don't have to rush and doing 100 notes per minute and all that. So I started, playing like, discovering chords like. Exploring the guitar in kind of a different way. For me, that it did change the game. So I had this guitar for about 6-7 months to keep in the hotels after the gig.
Okay.
Around midnight, I would just start going. Had no idea.
And do you think? Because what really fascinates me about this is, so from my experience, we were talking earlier about John Martin. And I was saying how I was trying to do this, and not seeing that because it wasn't a time of video.
Yeah.
And for me, that made me come to create. I didn't sound just like John Martin. I sounded like kind of a bad version, but like it was me trying to be him.
Yeah.
Do you think how you learned Hedges because you were doing it by ear and you weren't necessarily going, this is exactly how he did it, you found your own way?
But I probably perhaps is to do with my character. Even though I loved John McLaughlin so much, I never sat down and really wanted to learn everything he did or was soloing. And when I got the inspiration, then I was trying to find my own way of doing it. Because also that sometimes it can be so complicated to get in somebody's fingers and brain. Mm-hmm. I think everyone has a song that's trying to come out. Mm-hmm. So I kind of felt I had my own, for how little that is or insignificant to the world. But I always felt that there's so much to explore. hours and trying to, build something with my own technique and with
So you weren't trying to be Michael Hedges.
I've never had that. No, and I never saw him also as an incredible guitar player. I mean, he is amazing, beautiful what he did. But I had, in my own right, I had my own heroes, and he's not the type of guy that really thought, "Wow, I've got to play that." No, but I like that texture, and I took some of that texture and from him, and that's it. I don't know one song by Michael Hedges. Straight away I wrote this tune called Heartbeat. I still play it now.
Okay.
That was my first.
That was inspired by those sort of
inspired by that. Yeah.
Sort of...
Yeah, something like that. Just all inspired by that kind of. I call it texture. Yeah, like soundscape.
Do you think now people learn so visually? So they make the amazing world that we live in. If I want to learn an Antonio Forcione tune, I can go online on YouTube and learn. Yeah, it can be you teaching the tune. Do you think actually that is kind of maybe stopping that uniqueness and individuality? Because there's something in that, not struggle, but because you're just exploring and you're taking flavors. Do you think now we're actually taking like the data, the fingerprints?
I think everyone chooses to take that data or not. It's in your kind of thing. I mean,
so it's there, but you don't have to. You can just.
If somebody imitates the way I play, I mean, it's up to him. Choose that direction. Although I always tell everybody, find your own way, your own direction, because imitation is never good. Inspiration, yes, but imitation, you can't get same as, as I said to you, I had a huge respect for John McLaughlin. I've never, there's some songs I've learned, but whenever he started playing his improvisation, I never wanted to play that way. That's his way. And I think it would have been, it's already a hell of a work to find your own way and to find your own vocabulary. It's going to be double hell if you find somebody's vocabulary with their own technique and trying to enter that. I find it really complicated. I think you should just absorb what it touches you and make something out of that, make it yours. That makes more sense.
It's kind of easier almost. It's sort of more, I don't mean like...
It was for me.
It's like a path that feels right.
I find it easy. I find it more difficult playing something that somebody else is playing, exactly how they play it. It's great to study some solos or something that really touches you. It's good because it's, good to have that knowledge and being able to understand how the melody and the harmony works together. But find your own way, Even, I've seen so many incredible people touring the world that play in different ways and styles. I always appreciate that. That question when they ask me, for you, who is the best guitar player in the world? And I think I'm sure there must be hidden somewhere in some place because I've seen so many amazing players. So
it's so good to hear, man. It's so good to hear because I've always found it impossible to sit and learn a whole tune. I got the only tab of a percussive player I got. Do you know a guy called Eric Mongrain? You know this guy? He did a tab. I got his tab for an album, and I learned the first bar.
Yeah.
And then I went and wrote like 2 or 3 tunes, and then I never went back to it.
Yeah.
But I always felt that was like a weakness. Do you know what I mean? I was always sort of like, you got to focus, man. You got to focus. But
that's not a weakness. Me too. At the moment, I think I'm not able to focus and to study these things. I should be studying the whole book and learn. At the end, I think we have a compass inside. And boy, don't forget that little compass, because if you don't feel that where you're going, and sometimes you can get very lost. it could be all your life playing exactly the same or very good, even better than maybe your teacher. But then, so what if it's not your path?
Mm. How do you realise that, though, for people listening?
Well, one of the things to realise is it's what makes you really feel good. If that makes you feel good, fine.
Okay.
Do that in your life. I mean, there are, bands that play other people's, there are Rolling Stones bands going around the world. I wouldn't do that as a job. But
if that's your...
If they're happy doing it, that's good luck to them. Originality, we all have originality. Why not search for that? It's worth it. It's really worth it. I mean, it has been a long journey for me. I don't always get out in the morning and think, wow, that's a new tune. Sometimes you struggle a little bit when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by everything. You start listening to who inspires you. Just maybe while you're peeling your potatoes in the kitchen, just listen to that. Or while you're driving in the traffic, you hear that and think, oh shit, yeah, that's the way to go. Mm-hmm. But that's inspiration. It's not copying somebody. It's inspiring. We all need that. We feed our souls with this. Yeah, these moments.
Yeah, remembering to feed that creativity.
I remember the beginning of my career. When I was in my 20s, when I'm soloing and there's this audience, then I'm not kind of liking the solo. I say, this is not. And I actually literally thought, what John McLaughlin would do now, surely he would do something. And actually, that only thought, suddenly, my things will take shape. It's as if he was watching me and said, well, I better do something interesting here. It's like you have, but that was my way of thinking, and then it helped me. I mean, I don't do this anymore because I have a way of getting inside things, and doesn't always happen. But yeah, I'll always do it from the first tune.
Oh, let's talk about that. I've had this conversation with myself a lot, but also in podcast episodes, talking about this simple. We expect a musician to be into it. Like if we come to a gig, the musician has to be completely absorbed and connected. But no one ever really teaches how to sort of get into it. And I think for people who maybe aren't professional players or are maybe on an earlier part of their journey, that like, how do you get into it? How do you not get into playing guitar, but like connect with the music and be absorbed by it?
The Alternative Acoustic Podcast is proudly supported by Ibanez UK. Now, the Ibanez V Series has long stood for high quality at seriously affordable prices, available in all kinds of finishes, shapes and sizes. Now, I got to try all of them out recently, and a particular favourite of mine was the incredible Mini, which is the perfect travel size guitar. I mean, it sounds way bigger than it looks. The entire V Series and all Ibanez guitars are available now at Gear for Music, so make sure you go and check them out.
To be completely honest with you, I don't think there's something you can teach as such. You can talk about it, but I think it's the God, the music itself, that teaches you that.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying, do things that really move you somehow. You feel something inside, because when you do that, you want to go back there to that place.
Okay.
And it's you that want to go there. Mm. When I have to do a gig, and if the lighting is not right, sometimes I'm saying, can you turn that? Can you do? Because I want to go there. Help me out. Because sometimes if the lighting is too bright and things, and I'm sad and discomfort, or it's too cold, it's too hot, anything can disturb that little journey. And that journey is so important to me, and I care about it. So when I'm on stage, I want to play a little bit, and when I'm doing sound check, even when it sounds good or not, everybody thinks, let's go now. I said, no, wait, I want to make this space mine. I want to dig in. And when I have the right volume, the right tone of the guitar, everything, the environment is right, I know that I have good chance of doing a good gig and getting into it. So care about the space and that thing around you, because I think that you need that.
Like even tuning into the room.
Tuning to the room, the lighting's, just you can't say, oh God, I didn't like the monitor. It's like, no, if you don't like the monitor, spend some more time. Just make it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody's going to be there doing it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I take my own monitor, but just because for me, but beautiful moments at home by the fireplace with my own little monitor, kept it really low. I want to feel that like I'm in my home by the fireplace when I'm on stage. I want to have that feeling. I want to feel good.
I think everyone gets that, because every single guitarist, whether they're a seasoned pro or a novice, it's that enjoyment of playing at home on their own. And then it's kind of the same for everyone, isn't it? Then transferring that onto stage.
Exactly.
It's like it's a
challenge. Huge challenge. And,
especially for acoustic guys as well.
For acoustic guys, because things can go wrong. 1,000 things can go wrong. You might have feedback. As soon as you start, maybe the lighting was different to what you've done before. Then suddenly you're put off by somebody else or somebody's talking. 1,000 things. You've got to really think about it. Obviously, you cannot control everything, but at least make things close to you right.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because it gets easier as you get sort of more, well, for want of a better word, maybe known or reputation. Because you get those first gigs in a pub where no one's listening to you and you're plugged into a crappy PA, and then, it's so easy for you, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I have no idea. I mean, you're talking to someone that has been playing in the cold for 3 years outside. And as an Italian coming to London, and I've basked for 3 years, and I've known what it is like playing the best thing you can play, and people walk through and not even stopping, and but I am so glad now I've gone through all that. So many challenges, and you play, and there's police telling you to move, and there's rain, and
the challenges made you challenge.
I had many challenges, so it's I'm sure I'm happy that I've went through all that, and any gig was a bonus. Any wine bar and pub. I remember my right leg had more muscle than left because I was keeping the rhythm, really banging on the wooden floors to get everybody into the groove, and but we're not talking music then much. We're talking about entertainment and survival, but it's a very important stage too.
Why is it important? Because we were talking earlier about ego as well, weren't we? And that's
it's important. Yeah, in a way, it's important because you've got to pay your rent and you've got to survive, and if you can survive through that and keep your music intact and sane, then you're going through some really incredible challenges. And when you go the other side, I remember after 4 or 5 years, I started doing theaters. Best time for me when I start walking on, I don't have to win the audience anymore. As soon as I walk on stage, I had a huge applause. And I said, wow, what a difference. Well, life is different. They recognize you. They can't wait to see you on stage. And they
actually want you to do well.
They want you to do well. They're with me.
Yeah.
And the other great moment for me was starting with a ballad. I didn't have to start with...
Okay.
I thought, I'm going to play a ballad now, straight away, and bring them in to my, to my world.
Yeah.
And those all little challenges, I've gone through, and I'm happy life gave me the opportunity to go through all this.
Do you think it helped the rhythm and the groove? Because you had to get people to dance, basically. You had to...
Well, when you talk about rhythm and grooves, that goes when I was age 4 and 5, I was already doing...
Okay.
My grandfather went completely mad and telling me to stop it because I was playing rhythm to every surface I could find.
Okay.
Then my brother bought me a drum kit when I was 11. Yeah, around 11.
Okay.
And basically, as soon as I assembled this drum kit, I started bashing it as loud as I could, ignoring the neighbor. There's a shoemaker. He used to live downstairs, and after 4 or 5 months, I think he must have gone crazy. Spoken to my dad, and my dad, like nothing happened, he came strangely with a guitar after 6 months. Yeah. Try this, my son. Guitars, and it was boring. You know, at age 11, the guitar looked so boring. Sitting down and I wanted to make a lot of noise. So rhythm, I think, is something that found me first.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something I really like. I enjoy playing it. In fact, there's a lot of Brazilians, Cubans, and Africans. I think we have that kind of good vocabulary rhythmically, and Indians. Rhythm's something I really enjoy and still learning.
Can we get guitar-y and talk about then what you your sort of picking hand system on that when you're doing like some of those rhythms that we were jamming or whatever, like how you do it? Do you use thumb, index, middle and ring, or you, because it's always this, you know, amazing rocking. It seems when I'm watching anyway, it's down and up.
First of all, I love the 6/8 kind of groove, because it's got so many ways of changing and playing it. I'm particularly fond of this rhythm. What I do is just thinking rhythmically like I have a drum. That's notes, you see, it's like ghosty notes, and then you...
So you like... I don't want to talk over you playing. Yeah, but
you can.
No, it's just because it sounds so bloody lovely. But are you sort of doing those 16 notes and they're consistent, but then you're just accenting and bringing it out, so it's like constantly
it's constantly thinking that way, but also choosing certain one to accent, choosing certain one to be ghost. Not to play. Well, it is like that rhythm, because basically I'm doing this. I tend to accent a lot of the backbeat, you know.
That's where the funk is.
See, when it's like... That's not...
So the most important note is that it's not a note.
Well, you make it important, but obviously it's the upper one. I have a whole theory about, what you call it, backbeat? Offbeat.
Yeah.
The offbeat for me is got the whole philosophy. I mean, the more you go close to the equator, the more offbeat you find. There's a lot of offbeats.
Okay.
Especially the African, Cuban. I mean, look at...
You mean the equator? I thought you meant like some metaphorical equator. Right, yeah, for sure, man, for sure. That's, everything's about the offbeat, isn't it?
And it's the thing that has fascinated me for the last 10 years, like more than 10 years, because I just realized that even the way, when I went to, I was called to play in Zimbabwe on the festival, and then I saw this African playing Mbira's instruments, and I could see them move, and then move. I always accentuated the offbeat, always. I said, there's something about the offbeat, and now I start thinking, why is the offbeat so important in here, and why? And this is my own way of thinking.
Yeah, it's what we want to hear.
If you're celebrating, you go anti-gravitational. You don't go down. When you have goal, somebody's down. You go up.
Yeah.
When you're happy, you go up. And when you dance, the offbeat is always the up. So how important the offbeat is really more important. But in the Western society, it's much more down, which is reassurance. up is like more celebrating for me. It's less celebration. Yeah, bit.
That's lovely to think of. I've never thought about it like that. And you're rocking. So if I was doing something like that, I would be going between thumb and index. But you're like then shifting it to index and middle.
Soon.
And then, let you go into the left hand for a moment, but just still constant.
Yeah, just thinking constantly. But it's the accents that make the things, choosing which accents to take out or accentuate or make it ghosty. Yeah. Using certain things that sound a little bit different because you can easily do. Basically.
I think that takes confidence to do that as well, like a sort of confidence in doing a sound, because you don't learn that sound. You know what I mean? That's a sound that you've discovered. You love it.
Yeah,
and you just do it.
Exactly. But when you discover something good, that's what you do, don't you?
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, we all do that.
Yeah.
When you discover something, sometimes I was doing things like that. Suddenly I started playing solos with my nail. So saying, what the hell sound is that? Even using slightly different rhythm, which in flamenco they do it a lot.
Okay.
All those kind of offbeats closer to south. You hear it more and more. I mean, if you do. Times you hear this. I mean, you don't hear it on kind of the Western world very often, this kind of things, unless you go to North Africa. And when I heard those things, it really appealed to me a lot because rhythmically they tell me a little story which is a bit different. I mean, I don't enjoy when it's too squarish for me because it doesn't dance. And you need to dance. You need to. Plus, the offbeat makes it lighter.
Yeah.
I've given many examples. Like,
give us a little example.
Yeah, and there's a song called "Tears of Joy." This is the beginning of it. Just to choose the first phrase, it took me ages to build it in a certain way because I wanted it a bit interesting.
So this is your composition.
Yes, it's my composition called "Tears of Joy." Like it starts. Anticipation, and it's that building anticipation to down and choosing those kind of notes that makes it for me like a storytelling. It's not. It's not down. It just makes it a little bit more. Playing rhythmically, but what I do, I just change kind of the accents.
And it seems there's like a lot of left hand little skips as well, little moments, which kind of reminds me of that almost Malian
sort of
everything.
that. It's not the same as just a normal groove. It's
Yes, of course, of course. So that's for me that gives character to the tune. It's such a
It's playful, like it's
exactly
joyful.
Exactly. Just like doing piano. Simple, but it's got that groove. You can leave it like open.
Yeah. And the word texturally just really fascinating as well. There, like using your
Like use a heavy-handed like that.
you're sort of slapping, but
It's like slapping it like because you want it to carry and to resonate. This is different way of using even the peak. It's a lot to do with rhythmical stuff, choosing the accents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about, you started playing in quite a different time, I think, and like even 5 years ago, music,
Different time, very different.
it's
time.
just everything is so different, and I just wonder what you sort of notice about that, and that could be anything. I mean, from obviously things have changed from like the live music scene. We were talking about the busking thing, where even now no cash, how that would have an effect, or the way of learning everything being online, the way of being a musician, of it being, you know, here I am doing a podcast, and then, you know, tomorrow I'm going to do a lesson, and then I'm going to do a gig, and it's just different, man, isn't it?
Yeah, thinking obviously my apprenticeship was in the 70s and the 80s. I start really performing, but in the 70s, for example, I played with my uncle. My uncle played accordion.
Okay.
So age 13, I would go and do gigs that people had to dance.
Okay.
So you had, you know, responsibility to keep the rhythm, the timing, you know, tight. So you had to do waltz, mazurka, and then I do some even disco music for a while.
Okay.
It's all apprenticeship at that time. And for me, playing with my uncle was really important because he would say, waltz enough. That's all he said to me. And I had to really gather all the chords by listening to his melodies.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such an amazing lesson because you got to refine your listening.
Mm-hmm.
And also playing disco music in the 70s, that for me was my good pocket money, because then weekends, I was going to art college, and I'd go and play with the electric guitar and all the Gloria Gaynor stuff, and Pink Floyd, Santana. So I played all that, and doing all that kind of all kind anyway, I've learned a lot, and from there on, I started really wanting to do my own things, and I'd go home and I'd compose some little melodies, and I think this developing my own vocabulary on the guitar and writing my own songs that kept me alive, and I really start enjoying. When you start enjoying what you do, and it's a turning point, because you can always. I know people can play really well, and then they never want to play anything theirs because they think it's not good, and I think you hooked in a bad loop there. Just try to do something, enjoy it. I played other people's music, but more for different reasons, to make people dance. Or I was a big fan of Pink Floyd's and David Gilmour's solos and things like that. I love that atmospheric stuff. So I grew by doing those things. I had a few guitar lessons. Now and then I would go and take some lessons and learn more about chords. Then age 20, then I went to Rome and I studied some harmony jazz and started listening to Wes Montgomery and all the guitar players in a certain way, and start learning some jazz tunes. But I always felt like I couldn't do exactly, what I really wanted to do, what moved me. And it was when I heard John McLaughlin at that stage, I wanted to play that kind of. John McLaughlin was doing the Mahavishnu, but I really liked him, what he did with Shakti.
Oh, right, yeah. Cool.
That's quite unusual with the Indian kind of musicians. And then I started listening to Egberto Gismonti and Ralph Towner. That was a turning point for me. So then I've heard composing for guitar such beautiful stories. And I wanted to get into that, though I kind of like the virtuosity of John McLaughlin, so I had this in me, but I like the compositional skills of Ralph Towner.
Okay.
And the daring of Egberto Gismonti. So combine those three, they've been my heroes for a long time. And I started developing my own voice and writing. And so when I came to London, I had already some kind of jazz knowledge, improvisational knowledge, and when I played in the streets, I knew I was, if not one of the best in the streets, because everybody was strumming and playing lovely songs and singing.
Okay, but you were doing something different.
We're doing, Pago de Lucia stuff, and we did win the as musicians the competition, the street entertainers competition, and the Time Out did organize this. BBC was there, and it was the times. 1983.
Wow.
Yeah, and and then I went from playing the streets, then all these pub owners start calling each other. These two Latino guys are really good, and I thought we start being booked in every pub in London.
Yeah,
and then wine bars, and then you go to art centres. So there was a kind of a way to step up slowly to places, art centres, university, and I started doing theatres 3 years later, And only 4 years later, my English was still was quite good then, but at the beginning wasn't very good. So, in 1987, suddenly I had a phone call from Robert Masters, a very big manager that usually organizes gigs for guitar, and basically asked me to go on tour with Birelli Lagrin, Barney Kessel, Martin Taylor, Victories, Jorge Morel, and Juan Martin.
Wow.
So I was only 27, and I thought, wow, I was really... And anyway, that really pushed me a little bit more into thinking professionally, and I think, I better go seriously in this direction. So that was a memorable tour, touring the whole England, and then we went to Ireland also. So for me, it has been an amazing journey from the streets and slowly pubs, wine bars, art centres, university.
It's kind of a tangible trajectory.
Yes. So, but I feel I've been a little bit everywhere. I've done those steps, and I paid my bills. Yeah. Basically, and there's a lot to learn always. But I'm glad I'm still here, and I'm doing my own records, and I'm writing my own songs. I don't know now how new musicians would do. I can see them be a little bit tougher now for some reason, because there wasn't as clear as I used to be in my times. The direction. You take a certain direction, and then you've got to go certain challenges and.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean by like it being a sort of a tangible progression. It's like when people would talk about the music industry where you were attaining to get a record deal, for example, was the big thing, wasn't it? That was the thing that you worked towards. But now it's so much more sort of complex. And do you think there's less live opportunities? What about like guitar festivals and things like that? Do you think there's as much?
I think music has, for me, generally speaking, has lost its. Not because of the music, because of the way we live.
Yeah.
That magic kind of thing. When I used to think music, and when I see somebody with a guitar case, I used to get excited. Just wanted to know how it played. And it's not anymore like that, because I think we're using music for our backgrounds now, for our restaurants, for our. We're not paying musicians anymore. We think music is just something you use and throw, basically. It's I don't know. I have the feeling. I hope I'm wrong, but it feels like we only hear music sometimes only when we get in the airport and there's a piano there and some kid is playing music, and then becomes everything is a show. But music, it's a lot more than that, and I think it's kind of forgotten.
Okay. Do you think that's because you have?
It's even for free almost. Like
okay,
it's just everything. Yeah, all right. No, check his name out. We're just gonna check him out. That's it.
Do you think there's something in that the knowledge as well of learning on guitar, for example, is now so free. So everything is so there.
I mean, tell you one thing. As I when I was age 15, 16, I remember just falling deeply in love with the instrument, because it took me 2-3 years after leaving drums to getting into the guitar. But I remember at 15, 16, I used to come back from school, and I was in my bedroom, let's say from 2 o'clock. I'd be there at 8:30 in the evening. My mum would open the door, and I've been in dark, because I haven't even thought of turning on the lights.
Yeah.
And there was time to have dinner. And my mother said, "What are you doing here in the dark?"
Yeah.
Literally, I was there for hours, kind of lost in this universe.
Yeah.
Completely lost. I had time and place for me was...
So it was not a story of like, you must work hard and suffer. It takes time, but you're obsessed and you're loving every note that you play.
This was like a vortex that got me in completely. Yeah. I was completely hooked. And when I see my mother, it looked like an alien coming out of our room. It's like I was completely miles away. But because we're living in an era of distraction. There's distraction every minute. You've got phone calls.
Distraction and destruction.
Well, it is distraction because we're distracted basically by every minute. Oh, it's a friend, it's SMS. Maybe I have to post every basically 10 minutes, 5 minutes. We've got something going on all the time. I'm glad the timings were a bit longer before. You had the time to get into something. You can't get into anything now because you've got 100 things that are waiting for you to do. I think that could be another reason.
You're not having... Well, going back to what you're talking about of getting into what you're playing even, that doesn't fit in with the way that we are currently.
Getting in. And now everybody, if you see TikTok, you just, there's some amazing guitar players. It's like within 5 seconds, you can see amazing. Everything has to be whoa and amazing. Yeah. But depth is something else. It's something else. 60 seconds, you can give something that maybe inspires you, or it has a bit of a mystery, but then you want to go and find out. But now everybody wants 100% now and within those seconds. How can you put 50 years of, kind of thing in 60 seconds?
Do you use it much, or do you just opt out? Do you just go?
No, I use it because I use it, but certainly I'm not going to do everything I know in 60 seconds because I don't want to, and I don't know how to do it, and that's not my challenge anyway. It must be other people's challenge. The only thing I use the media because I want to tell the people that would love what I do or likes what I do to come to my gigs because otherwise they would not know. Especially at my age, people don't use this very much. So I use a lot of Facebook.
Well, that's really interesting, right?
For me, Facebook is bigger than Instagram.
Okay.
You know?
I see.
Because at my age, they can see you there and they turn up.
Yeah.
And still come and I love my audience because, yes, it might be a little bit older than the usual older audience, but they are really appreciative, and then I had so much feedback, great feedback. I'm really honored to do what I do, and I feel honored. And I don't know. I guess I've been a bit lucky, but I'm happy.
How have you been lucky? Do you think?
Because if you think that how the world is going now, and me pursuing this kind of career and being able to pay my rent, my lifestyle, because but it's quite amazing. I find it amazing. I find it a blessing. I know it's not only luck. I think there's a lot of work in it, but
you enjoyed that work.
But I enjoyed doing this, and I love the fact that I've got people looking forward to my performances, and they buy my records. And one thing is kind of my promise to them. It's like my quality of whatever I do, I put body and soul to what I do. I don't think there's one album I thought, I'm going to make money in it. I said, no. Certainly I want to sell them, but I'm not going to do it. That's not my first idea. I do things because it moved me first. I write things that move me first. I'm the first audience.
So going back to that, you like it, you do it more.
Yeah. You like it, you do it, you do it more. But you don't do it with the idea that I've got to make money, I've got to reach this out. It's not the main purpose is for you to be in it and to feel good about it. That's the main purpose. You might be in your room forever and enjoying it, but believe me, I know it for sure, and I tested it on this while I was a busker. One day I wasn't really. I was feeling slightly blue, and I was playing. Remember, I was in Covent Garden, my head down, and I really got into it. I didn't care about people.
You weren't entertaining.
I wasn't entertaining anymore. I just thought, this is my moment. It's for me. I was there it must have been like half an hour playing a long journey. Believe me, when I raised my head, it was full of people watching. I was like, whoa. I had no idea. But then for me, that meant something really important. Is if you actually are really into it and really deeply into it, I trust that people will feel it. They know it. If you're just entertaining, it will look like an entertainment, and that probably will sound like it too. Get into that depth, and I think it's always rewarding.
That's beautiful, man. That's the conclusion. Words of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Glad enjoyed it. I enjoyed the jam with you.
Yeah. Oh, me, mate.
Yeah, it's good.
A huge thank you to Ibanez UK for making this conversation possible.